Butch back here in the BHE test kitchen, aka my kitchen, and I'm going to show you today a recipe I made up for something I call Croque Chacun. It is a variation of a croque monsieur, a croque madame that I used to have in my childhood because grilled cheese wasn't like good enough for my hoity-toity family. Anyway, so basically what it is a grilled cheese sandwich, but instead of just grilling the sandwich, you dunk it in what used to be a milk and egg kind of mixture. So it's sort of encased in the milk and egg mixture like a French toast. But what I do is much more exciting. It's, of course, cruelty-free. Making the sweet potatoes is the key ingredient to replace eggs. First thing we're going to do is we're going to peel and then slice and dice the sweet potato. Now, just so you know, I'm doing a double recipe because we both love this recipe, so we're going to keep it for like a quick dinner later on this week. But attached is a recipe for a single recipe for 2 sandwiches. Okay, just keep that in mind. We've got a ½ cup of finely diced sweet potatoes covered in water. I like using Pyrex because it can go in the microwave. And we're going to put this in for 2.5 minutes to cook the sweet potato. Well, I'll stop it at 2 minutes. We now have cooked sweet potatoes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to drain them and put them in the blender. We're going to add some things to this so it won't be too hot, but always remember if you're using a glass blender not to fill it with hot liquid because it will crack the glass. Lesson learned. Into the blender we will next add 3 ounces of firm tofu, or extra firm. I like it the firmer the better. So this is 3 ounces. It's a 1/5 of a block from Trader Joe's. Let's show this. Yeah, serving size 3 ounces, so it's a 1/5 of this block, and I use this a lot, so I have it at the ready. But since I'm doing a double recipe, I'm going to put in 6 ounces of tofu, which is exactly what I have. And remember, always stir your tofu in water, and replace the water daily to keep your tofu fresh longer. Next thing we're going to add is tapioca flour, and this is a great thickening agent, which we're going to need to make whatever the slurry that we dip the sandwich in have enough body that it'll hold on to the sandwich. So for this I'm using tapioca flour. You can also use cornstarch, but this is I think my favorite. So the single recipe calls for a single tablespoon. I'm doing a double, so we're going to put 2 tablespoons in. Next, I put in a 1/4 cup soy milk for a single recipe, so it'll be a ½ cup soy milk. And there you go. And just a hint, when you open up a container of plant milk, put your opened date in a Sharpie on the container. That way you know when it's going to go bad. Because unlike milk, it doesn't turn so obviously. Unlike dairy milk, it's a little less obvious to me, and my nose never worked well, so this just helps me stay safe. Next I'm going to add turmeric to give it a yellowish color, and this is really unnecessary except for the aesthetics of looking eggish. Single recipe will give you'll put in a 1/4 teaspoon. I'm putting in a ½ teaspoon because again I'm doubling the recipe. Next is an 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. I'm doing a double recipe with a 1/4 teaspoon. And if you are on a diet where you need to reduce your salt, you can use a salt substitute. That's fine too. We've got all the ingredients in. Now all you do is blend it on high till it's smooth. I have blended it thoroughly. If you want to check for chunks in case the sweet potato wasn't cut very finely, it might need a little extra time in the blender. So here we've got a wide, flat bowl, and these are really good because the bottom part, the flat part, is about the size of a piece of bread, and that'll make it much easier to dunk the sandwich in. And again, this is a double recipe, so after we've dunked 2 sandwiches, I'm going to store the remainder for another meal. Next, we're going to assemble the sandwiches. I will do pan, and we're gonna like have a little extra tang in this one. And since we're making a French sandwich, I think Dijon is the right mustard to use. Did you know that mustard is an emetic? If you are in a poison control situation with no other way of getting the poison out, you can give yourself a great quantity of mustard, and in theory, it should make you throw up. A little bit is a lovely seasoning, a lot will make you barf. You have a couple choices here. You can use cheese, some kind of vegan cheese, or you can use a vegan deli meat and cheese. And I'm using Follow Your Heart cheese today. I don't have any tofurkey, which is my absolute favorite. I have like tofurkey since back in the day. But we're going to use the Follow Your Heart, which I've also liked for a long time. They've been a great resource for vegans for quite a while. All right, sandwich is made. Let's put it into the batter. And let it sink down. And then I'm going to use the spatula. And I'm just going to cover it. And this is actually a very good way to use bread that's a little staler. If your bread isn't the freshest, then doing a treatment like this to it will really zip it up. I like to use a seasoned cast iron skillet for all of my skilleting needs. And I also have a cover which doesn't fit it, but it's larger than it. It's important to have a skillet and a cover. Whichever one you use is great. The great thing about a cast iron skillet is that once you cure it, which means you sort of bake it with some oil in it, and then every time you use it, you don't use soap, but you scrub it and you put a little fine sheen of oil on it. It acts something like a nonstick pan. Not exactly a nonstick pan, but it's somewhere between like a stainless steel and a nonstick pan. Anyway, we're going to turn on the heat to a medium-high and use a little spray oil of your choice. I'm using spray canola. Let's do the sizzle test to see if the pan's hot enough for our sandwich. Get your hand wet. Yes! We have achieved hot pan. Alright, so this has been soaking for a little while. And we are going to lift it up, place it in the pan, and then cover it so it can cook. And it's really important with vegan cheeses especially that you make sure you have a cover for your pan when you're making grilled cheese or these croque chacun. And the reason being is that the steam will help to melt the vegan cheese. They're really good melty vegan cheeses now, but they could use a little bit of assistance towards melting. You flip it when it's golden brown. I jumped the gun so the cameras were off. My apologies. Here we have the final product. It is toasty brown on both sides, cooked through. It's a sloppy mess, but it is delicious.
I'm ready to try it.
Okay.
What is it called?
Croque Chacun.
What does that mean? I did not ever take French.
It is crispy one. Normally these are called croque monsieur or croque madame, but I was looking for a non-gender specific name.
I like to kind of break down the toxic masculinity realm here through sandwiches. This is delicious, honey.
Oh, good.
But you have to come here because I'm ready to watch Orange is the New Black.
Okay.
And to eat my croque madame. No, croque what?
Chacun.
Chacun. I'm ready to eat my croque chacun.